Welcome to our TST Dialogues, where we'll be talking about different issues in our southern African region. And today we are here in Dar es Salaam, where the SADC 39th Head of State Summit is expected to be held on Saturday. And we so far have noticed and realized that the chairmanship for the SADC Council of Ministers has already been handed over to Tanzania from Namibia. And I'm joined here by our Namibian Deputy Prime Minister, who's also the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Honorable, welcome to our TST Dialogues.
Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you so much for your time. So, Honorable, I would like you to share more on the experience that you've had in your tenure, the milestone you have achieved, and also the challenges that you're experiencing in the tenure.
Thank you very much. First, as you might know, during our tenure, the SADC revised the regional indicative strategy plan was getting in its fourth year. And that is the plan which is looking or aimed to accelerate the industrialization agenda as well as the integration of the continent. It's based on so many pillars, microeconomics, and we have to know that we have made progress in the sense that we have agreed in many instruments that will enable us to implement the plan. But we have to accept that the last year had some challenges. That includes the trade tension between the big economies in the world. It also includes food insecurity, which has come also as a result of a climatic condition. You might know that our region had to suffer from cyclone and other climatic conditions like drought. And the cyclone particularly has created or has caused very serious damage. Over 1,000 people killed, over 3,000 injured, and properties destroyed, some hectares of cropland destroyed. So that really, as a result, the affected countries, as well as SADC member states, have to provide support to those countries. So that has really become a very big challenge because even SADC itself has to make some money available in order to assist the affected countries. When it comes to what we have achieved, you might know that during the 30th session, we adopted a theme which was infrastructure development for youth empowerment for sustainable development. And this theme is talking to SADC agenda of industrialization strategy. And in order to implement this, we had developed several programs which were focusing on the youth. And we targeted the sectors that we found very critical in the region. For example, water, energy, ICT, transport, and employment. So dialogues have been organized around those areas, and they have been very, very useful. And the outcome is a decision that for us to achieve what has been recommended from the young people when they are dialoguing, now it has become one of the priorities for SADC to implement the SADC Youth Development and Empowerment Protocol, which is very, very important because really for us to talk about industrialization of our region, we cannot do it without the youth. And the youth development and empowerment program is talking about education and skill as well as entrepreneurship because our young people have to lead our economy. And that's why we have to help them to bring out their entrepreneurship challenges so that they can make use of it and develop our economies.
Okay. I also understand that during your tenure, 6 member states had successful, credible, and democratic elections. What can you say can be attributed to such a success?
You see, if there is one area where SADC has done very well since its inception, is the maintenance of peace and stability. I think our history has taught us on the importance of peace, because SADC is a region that has experienced prolonged liberation struggle, which was characterized by all the fronts of the struggle: political, diplomatic, and military. And this struggle did not only affect the countries who were fighting, but even the neighbors. They suffered. We will recall the South African racist regime when they were bombing neighboring countries, the Ian Smith when they bombing neighboring countries. Their citizens also lost their lives. And I think from that, we came to realize the importance of peace, and we have really invested on it. And the dividends are becoming very clear. Our region is stable, our region is peaceful, and that is why we even got the value of institutionalizing and strengthening our democratic institutions. SADC has even adopted the principle of governing democratic elections. So we are very proud that all these 6 countries that conducted their elections, they were credible, they were peaceful, and the countries are now focusing on their developmental agenda. Specifically, I have to single out DRC. For many years, we have been facing a serious problem when it comes to elections in DRC. By the fact that these elections are holding since they took place, it's a celebration for the region. And we have just to work hard to maintain that. So the challenges that are there, we must be able to manage them. We know the situation in Lesotho. I'm sure that we can manage them. And some things mentioned here and there in Madagascar, but really from the institutions that we have set up and the mechanism that we are now having at our disposal, we'll be able to manage. I can even tell you, we are really celebrating when on the 6th of August, we even saw the government of the Republic of Mozambique and Renamo signing a peace accord and peace pledge. So it's really, these are the dividends that we are enjoying as a region in which we have invested heavily.
Okay. Well, yesterday, the incoming chairperson of the Council of Ministers mentioned that Swahili is being adopted as the 4th official language in the region. So maybe if you could share with us, how do in Namibia, how do we intend to implement that, also ensure that we promote the use and the learning of Swahili in Namibia? What is the plan?
First, for Namibia, this is a welcome move. Welcome in the sense that Swahili is one of the African languages that does not belong to anybody. Swahili is a language in which many of our languages, we are finding words there. So, which means once we introduce it, we can all rely to it. We can all own the Swahili language. And that will go a long way, even in our educational institutions. You see, because we are facing a big challenge in some of our countries, whereby our young people are only learning in European language. And when you have your thinking and everything in a foreign language, it's not so easy. You realize that, like in Tanzania, where Swahili is more or less on the par with the English, when you see the people articulating in both language, then it tells you that this person is strengthened by the roots of the African language. to which he or she is fully conversant. But in some of our countries, that's not the case because mostly it's English. And then it's not the language you have in your blood. It's a language which is coming from somewhere. But when you take Swahili, where you are getting some things that you are also having on your mother tongue, definitely to have an impact in the long run in the educational system in the region. For Namibia, when President Makafuli paid a state visit to our country recently, a decision is already taken to introduce Swahili into our schools. So, of course, we cannot do it overnight because first you have to develop the curriculum, you have to have the teachers, you have to have the training of the trainers. So it's a process. But the fact that the principal decision has been taken, now we have just to work on the modalities as how we are going to start. So it's a plus for us as now the decision is taken.
Well, we understand that in some of your remarks, you said you were confident that the incoming chair will push the vision of SADC forward. Why would you say that?
Yes. I met the incoming chair closely for the first time in Windhoek when he came for the 39 session when I took over the chair. We engaged each other, and I realized that that was not the first time I was meeting him. So as we were talking, as I say, closer, as we were talking, I realized I have known him before. And knowing him before, and with the engagement we have, and also knowing that though he is the chair, it's not himself, it's the country Tanzania. And I know the policy of Tanzania when it comes to Pan-Africanism, when it comes to integration in the region, because the ideals and the principle of Mwalimu are still strong in this country. So for me, I would have no doubt of any Tanzanian who is taking the chair, because from all what I'm getting, they have not got out of the way where we were directed by Mwalimu. And that became very clear when we had our meeting yesterday and day before yesterday. Things were moving very well. And I'm sure we are going to have a productive year under the chair of Tanzania. So that's why I said, because the professor, he's really focused. He's on the ball. A historian, a lawyer, and a person who has grown up in the system. So that gives me a clear confidence that we cannot go wrong to give this cannot go wrong to give the chair to him.
Well, that is nice to hear that, and thank you for that such detailed information on your history and your relations with him and the Tanzania.